Hello everyone, I hope you're staying nice and cool as this weather heats up. Today we'll be talking about what are called count and non-count nouns. Now you might remember that a noun is a word that we use for people, places, and things, including ideas. So, what we mean by a count noun is a word for something that can be counted. For example, students, parks, or smartphones are all things that can be counted. Now, what we mean by a non-count noun are words for things that cannot be counted. For example, water, oil, snow, or happiness are all things that cannot be counted. Let's take a minute to go over count nouns. Now, there are two different kinds of nouns. First, we have regular nouns. To make a regular noun plural, all we have to do is add an S, or sometimes an ES, to the end of the word. For example, the word book. All we need to do to make book plural is add an S to it, giving us books. Here's another example. Take the word box. All we have to do to make box plural is add an ES, giving us boxes. The other kind of noun is known as an irregular noun. Now, I like to think of irregular nouns as having two types. The first type, we change the word to its plural form in a way that is different from adding an S or an ES. For example, if we take the word mouse, we would make it plural by changing it to mice. Another example would be the word ox. We make ox plural by changing it to oxen. Now, unfortunately, you just kind of have to memorize these ones. Now, the other type of irregular noun is a little bit easier. They just never change. For example, let's look at the word fish. You could say, I caught a fish, or you could say, I caught 10 fish. The word fish doesn't change in either sentence. Another example of this would be the word sheep. You could say, the farmer has 1 sheep, or the farmer has 30 sheep. The word sheep does not change. Okay, now let's talk about non-count nouns. You're probably familiar with words like water, coffee, and snow not being countable. For example, we don't say things like, there are many waters, or there are so many snows. Instead, you would say, there is a lot of water, or there is a lot of snow. Well, the same thing is true for ideas and feelings as well. For example, love, happiness, fear, excitement, bravery, and so on are not things that we can count. Now, there are some words that are non-count nouns that learners of English often confuse for count nouns. For example, the words vocabulary, information, music, advice, and traffic are all non-count nouns. Yet, sometimes you'll hear students say or write things like, I studied many vocabularies for the test, or I found many informations on the internet. Let's take a look at the word vocabulary and discuss why it's a non-count noun. You see, vocabulary is a category or group. In fact, if you use the Cambridge Learner's Dictionary, one of the definitions you get for vocabulary is a list of words and their meanings. So while you can say, I studied many words for the test, because word is a count noun, it would be incorrect to say, I studied many vocabularies. However, if you use the phrase a lot of, which we use to show an amount for both count and non-count nouns, then you can say, I studied a lot of vocabulary for the test, and this would be correct. If we go back to the internet example, you can also say, I found a lot of information on the internet. Let's take a look at one last example. If you were driving to work or school, and it was very busy, how might you use the word traffic? Well, by now, we should know that it wouldn't be correct to say, there are many traffics. But we could say, there is a lot of traffic. Now, if you didn't want to use the word traffic at all, you could also just say, there are a lot of cars. Remember, when you aren't sure, sometimes it's best to just keep things simple. I hope this video helped, and remember to keep in mind whether the nouns you're using are count or non-count nouns. I'll see you next time on Andrew Intervenes.